Shiva Puranam, Rudra Samhita, Srsti Khanda, Chapter 14. Directions for Shiva's worship. The rishis said, O disciple of Vyasa, O fortunate one, you kindly speak out with examples as to which types of flowers offered to Shiva yield which type of fruits which are bestowed by Shiva. Suta said, O Saunaka and other sages, you please listen to me quite respectfully. I am lovingly going to reveal the method of the offering of the flowers. The divine sage Narada had in earlier times asked Brahma about the same, who had lovingly explained the method of offering flowers to Shiva. Brahma said, by offering the lotus, wood apple leaf, satapatra, variety of big lotus flower, and sankhapushpi, bestow riches to the devotees. A person desirous of wealth should offer these flowers to Shiva. In case a devotee offers Shiva a lakh of flowers, he surely achieves fortunes and his sins are all destroyed. The bunch of 20 lotus flowers is called prastha, and half of 1,000 wood apple leaves also make half a prastha. 1,000 lotus petals make half a prastha. 16 palas make a prastha, while 10 tankas make a pala. According to this calculation, flowers for adoration should be weighed. In case the adoration is thus performed, it would bestow all the desires. In case a devotee worships without any desire, he is sure to become like Shiva himself. O sages, the one who is desirous of achieving a kingdom, he should try to please Shiva by adoring a crore of Parthiva lingas. The unbroken flowers and rice should be offered to Shiva Linga. Application of the sandal paste Abhisheka of Shiva should be performed with the drop of water. The lotus flower and leaves of wood apple should be offered to the Parthiva Linga. The ancient sages have laid special emphasis for the offering of the flowers of Samkha Pushpi to Shiva, and by doing so, all the presents as well as the future desires of a person are fulfilled. After the offering of the flowers, incense, lamp, naivedya, argha, arati, pradakshina, salutation, begging of forgiveness should be prayed for, and thereafter there should be the ceremonial send-off. At the end, other devotees should be served with food. The one who is desirous of an important position should worship with half the aforesaid number. A person desirous of his release from the prison should adore 100,000 lingas of Shiva. A person suffering from ailment should adore half of the aforesaid number of Shiva lingas, that is 50,000. The one who is desirous of a girl child, he should adore 25,000 of lingas with 25,000 flowers. A person desirous of higher education should adore Shiva with 12,500 lotus flowers. The person desirous of good speech should worship Shiva with ghee. For the destruction of the enemies, an equal number of flowers should be offered to Shiva. For the destruction of the enemies for 1,00,000 times, Shiva should be adored, and for enchantment the number should be reduced to the half. For the subjugating of the vassal kings, worship of Shiva for 1,00,000 of times is recommended. For earning fame, the same number has been prescribed. For obtaining a vehicle, 1,000 Parthivas should be adored. A person desirous of salvation should adore 5 crores of Parthivas with devotion. The people desirous of higher education should adore 1,00,000 Parthiva lingas of Shiva, who is benevolent to all. Those who are desirous of having an audience with Shiva should adore half the above number. For the fulfillment of the other desires, the Mrityunjaya mantra should be recited. By performing japam of this mantra 5 lakhs of time, Shiva appears before the devotee. In case a person recites the said mantra a lakh of times and begins a second installment, he would be born in a higher caste. By reciting the mantra 3 lakhs of times, all the desires are fulfilled, and by reciting the mantra 4 lakhs of times, Shiva himself appears before the devotee. By performing the japam 5 lakhs of times, one undoubtedly gets the full reward. In case the said mantra is recited 10 lakhs of times, one receives further auspicious reward. The persons desirous of salvation should adore Shiva with kusha grass. O sages, in relation to the worship of Shiva, the number everywhere is 1 lakh. The person desirous of long life should adore Shiva with the durva grass. The person desirous of a son should adore Shiva with dhatura flowers. The wood apple flower with red stalk is considered to be the best and is said to yield the best results. The offering of the flower of Agastya tree as Chinomena grandiflora to Shiva by a person, it would bestow great fame for him. The worldly pleasures as well as the salvation could be achieved by a person by offering tulasi leaves, holy basil to Shiva. Immense prowess could be achieved by offering of Madara, Calotropis gigantea, Kubjaka, and Kalhara flowers. The adoration of Shiva with Chinese rose causes death for the enemies, while oleander flowers drive away all the ailments. By worshipping Shiva with Bandhuka flowers, the devotee gets ornaments. Jasmine flowers would yield good horses or vehicles. The linseed flowers shall attain the favor of Vishnu. By offering shami leaves to Shiva, the devotee achieves the devotion as well as salvation. The jasmine flowers, when offered to Shiva, would yield a beautiful woman to the devotee. By offering the splendid Yuthika, a kind of jasmine flowers, Jasminum auriculatum, the shortage of the cereals never occurs in the house of a devotee. By offering the white rose to Shiva, he will secure plenty of garments. Using the flowers of Nirgundi medicinal plant, the mind of the devotee gets purified in the world. By offering a lakh of leaves of the wood apple tree, all the desires of a devotee are fulfilled. The flowers of the weeping Nyctanthus Harsigara, when used in the adoration of Shiva by a devotee, increases the comforts and wealth of the devotee. In case the flowers of the season are offered to Shiva, a devotee surely achieved salvation. The offering of the mustard flowers to Shiva surely brings death to the enemies. By offering a lakh of mustard flowers to Shiva would yield enormous reward. Except the Champaka and Ketaka flowers, there is no other flower which is not liked by Shiva. Therefore, these two types of flowers should not be offered to Shiva. Hereafter, I am going to speak out the reward of offering the grains and pulses in the adoration of Shiva, which should be listened by you with devotion. By offering rice to Shiva, the riches of a devotee are increased, but they should be offered to Shiva with utmost devotion. There should be 6 prasthas of unbroken rice, or 2 palas in weight, or 1 lakh in counting. Shiva should be adored prominently. Thereafter, a beautiful cloth should be offered to Shiva. This is the excellent way of offering rice to Shiva. Thereafter, a coconut should be offered with fragrance, unbroken rice flowers, besides the incense, lamp, etc., by which full reward of the worship could be derived. 2 rupees of silver connected with Prajapati, besides the black gram, should be given to the priest as dakshina for 2 ceremonies, or dakshina according to one's capacity should be given to the priest. Thereafter, food should be offered to 12 brahmanas. The entire process then constitutes the completion of Laksha Puja in detail with the requisite mantras. The mantras are required to be repeated 108 times. Thereafter, a lakh of sesame seeds are required to be offered to Shiva, and by doing so, all the sins are destroyed. A lakh of sesame seeds are 11 palas, or 44 tolas. A person who is desirous of his own welfare should adore Shiva as has been done earlier. On this occasion, the food should be served to the Brahmana devotee of Shiva, and by doing so, all the miseries emanating from the sins disappear. O Parvati, similarly, the adoration of Shiva with a lack of barley has been prescribed. 8.5 prasthas and 2 palas of barley grains constitute 100,000 in number, according to the ancient calculation. The sages obtain that the worship of Shiva with the grains of barley increases the divine pleasures. The devotees desirous of reaping the best reward of their adoration should feed the brahmanas to please Prajapati. Lord Shiva is also pleased with he worship done with Lord Shiva is also pleased with the worship done with wheat. In case Shiva is adored with a lack of wheat grains, then there is an increase in the progeny of devotee. Half a drona has a lack of wheat grains. Rest of the process should be carried out appropriately. In case Shiva is adored with the green gram grains, he bestows all types of comforts over the devotee. 7 prasthas or 2 palas, 2 7 and a half palas of green gram make 100,000 in number. This has been ordained by the ancient brahmanas. Then 11 brahmanas should served with food. By adoring Shiva, the Supreme Soul, with the Priyangu flowers, Panicham, Italicum, there is an increase in Dharma, Artha and Kama. This type of adoration is always pleasant. A lack of Priyangu make a prastha. According to the ancient people with wisdom, thereafter 12 brahmanas should be served with food. The enemies are destroyed by adoring Shiva with mustard seeds. 20 palas of mustard seeds count for a lack of them. By adoring Shiva with them, the enemies are destroyed. Decorating Shiva with Arahara pulses, Citises, Chajam, his adoration should be done. A cow and a bull should be given in charity for the sake of Lord Shiva. The adoration of Shiva with black pepper results in the destruction of the enemies. Shiva should also be adored by coloring him with the color of the arhara leaves. This type of adoration bestows all types of rewards besides the pleasures. O sages, I have explained to you the adoration of Shiva done by means of cereals. Now listen to the calculation of a lakh in the case of flowers. A prastha of Samkha Pushpi flowers make a lakh according to Vyasa, who is well aware of all the measurements and calculations. The 11 prasthas make a lakh of the jasmine flowers. The same is the number of the Yuthika or Juhi flowers. The flowers of mustard seed count half its number. 20 prasthas of Mallika flowers make a lakh, while an equal number of Sisamum flowers measure a little less than a prastha. Oleander weighs double than the earlier ones. The people with wisdom describe the same number for Nirgundi flowers. In the white rose, Bandhu Jiva and Siris flowers too have the same mode of calculation. 10 prasthas of Bandhu Jiva flowers constitute 100,000. Thus, taking into consideration the different measures, Shiva should be adored for the fulfillment of all the desires. For achieving salvation, Shiva should be adored, shedding away all the desires. Hereafter, I shall speak on the subject of Dhara Puja, listening to which people face all the welfare. Adoring Shiva appropriately with devotion, then the stream of water should be poured over Shiva. When a person in high fever starts uttering useless words, in order to pacify such a person, water should be poured over Shiva, reciting the Shatarudriya or Ekadasha Rudra mantra. By doing so, the patient is sure to get relief. One should also recite the Shiva Nama and Japam from Purusha Shukta, Sharanga Rudri or Mahamrityunjaya mantras. Besides these mantras, the Gayatri mantra, Om Namah Shivaya or Pauranika mantras should be recited while pouring water over the Shiva Linga. For the increase in the comforts and the progeny, Dhara worship has been prescribed to be the best. Making use of the excellent dravyas, the holy ashes should lovingly be applied over the body. By reciting 1,000 mantras as stated above, Shiva should be bathed with the dhara of ghee, which results in the development of the race. There is no doubt about it. Thus, Shiva should be adored reciting the mantras spoken by me. Ultimately, 12 brahmanas connected with Prajapati should be served with food. In order to bestow wisdom over a person short of wisdom, the milk mixed with sugar should be poured over Lord Shiva. By so doing, the concerned person achieves wisdom comparable to Brihaspati. The adoration with dhara of milk should be continued till the recitation of the 10,000 mantras is over. In case without any cause there develops any crack or lactation in the body, or one develops love in proper or improper person, or there is an increase of love and misery anywhere, or the dispute arises in the house, or the miseries overpower the house, all of them would disappear in no time with the performing of the dhara worship of Shiva. For causing miseries to the enemies, the dhara of oil should be poured over Shiva, and by doing so, the job is done. By pouring the dhara of the fragrant oil, there is an increase in the pleasures. With the pouring of the dhara of mustard oil, the enemy is surely destroyed. By adoring Shiva with the pouring of the dhara of honey, the danger from yaksha is warded off. By pouring the dhara of sugarcane juice, one gets all types of bliss. By pouring the dhara of the water of the Ganga, one achieves salvation. One gets success in the process of reciting the Mrityunjaya mantra. In this case, the recitation should be done 10,000 times, and at the end 11 brahmanas should be served with food. O sages, I have spoken to you whatever had been asked by you. This process shall make all the efforts successful. By adoring Shiva appropriately together with Parvati and Kartikeya, the type of reward which is achieved by a devotee is being spoken by me, whatever had been heard by me. A devotee of Shiva enjoying all the pleasures in this world with sons and grandsons, and after his death he achieves Shiva Loka, which bestows all the comforts. He boards the plane having the luster of crores of suns, and which moves at will. He joins to singing and dancing of the Rudra Kanyas. He enjoys sports with the relatives of Shiva till the time of the dissolution. Thereafter, he is redeemed by achieving the perfect knowledge. Iti Sri Shiva Mahapurane द्वितीयायां रुद्रसंहितायां प्रथमखण्डे सृष्टि शिवपूजाविधानवर्णनं नाम चतुर्दशोऽध्यायः. Chapter 15 Manifestations of Rudra. Narada said, O Creator, O Brahma, the fortunate one, foremost among the gods, you are graceful. You have recited today the extremely auspicious story of Shiva, in which we learned about the divine and surprising origin of Shiva Linga, with the influence of which all the miseries in this world disappear. Now you speak out the glory and what transpired thereafter, the grandeur of the created things, and particularly the mode of creation. You kindly speak out the same. Brahma said, you have put me a correct question. I had heard about the subsequent happenings, which I shall relate to you briefly. After the disappearing of the eternal Lord, O Brahmana, both myself and Vishnu felt immensely comfortable. Then myself and Vishnu, in the form of the swan, as well as boar, surrounded the earth for its protection. Narada said, O Brahma, possessing enormous wisdom, I have developed a great doubt in my mind. You kindly remove the same with great compassion. Both of you took to the form of swan and the boar. But why did you do so? What had been the reason for it? Suta said, listening to the words of the sage Narada, Brahma, concentrating his mind at the feet of Shiva, spoke with respect. Brahma said, the swan can fly upwards steadily and has the power to distinguish between falsehood and the truth. Because of this, it can separate milk from the water. Thus, the swan can distinguish between ignorance and knowledge. Because of this, Brahma, the creator of the universe, took to the form of a swan. But, O Narada, I failed to find out the refulgent form of Shiva, and therefore it was absorbed in the same. The one who is absorbed in the creation of the universe, how could he be blessed with the real knowledge? Because of this, I, even after taking to the form of swan, could not achieve the true knowledge. A boar can steadily go down deep below. Therefore, Lord Vishnu took to the form of a wild boar. Or, in other words, Vishnu took to the form of a white boar in order to start Shweta Varaha Kalpa. The date from which Hari took to this form, Varaha Kalpa, started from that time. When he first desired to take to that Varaha form, since that time, in every Kalpa, the Varaha Kalpa was repeated. O Narada, in this way I have replied to your question. You listen to it, O sage. Now I, concentrating my mind at the lotus-like feet of Shiva, shall narrate the sequence of the creation. After the disappearing of Lord Mahadeva, I, being the grandsire of the Lokas, in order to obey his command, sat in meditation reciting his name. Offering my salutation to Shiva and gaining wisdom from Vishnu and feeling blissful, I mentally decided to start creation of the universe. Lord Vishnu, offering his salutation to Shiva and bestowing the appropriate enlightenment to me, disappeared, O dear one. By achieving the grace of Shiva, Vishnu went to Vaikuntha out of Brahmanda and started living there. In order to resolve for creation, devoting my mind at Shiva and Vishnu, I created the water first of all, and I poured a hand cup full of water in it. O Brahmana, then out of that water an egg of 24 tattvas was formed, and it took to gigantic form. Then I, becoming doubtful, meditated upon Vishnu for a period of 12 years. O dear one, at that point of time, Lord Vishnu himself appeared before me and touched my limbs and then delightfully said, Lord Vishnu said, O Brahma, Ask for a boon. I am pleased with you. There is nothing in the world which cannot be given to you. By the grace of Shiva, I can bestow everything on you. Brahma said, O Vishnu, the fortunate one, you have spoken truthful words that Shiva has given me over to you. It is therefore proper that I should request you. Therefore, you give me whatever Shiva has desired to be given to me. I offer my salutation to you. You give me whatever has been desired by Shiva to be given to me. This gigantic egg in the form of Virat comprises of 24 tattvas. There is no life in it in the beginning. Therefore, it looks lifeless. O Vishnu, you have appeared before me today by the grace of Shiva. Therefore, you activate this egg with the strength of Shiva. At these words of Brahma, Vishnu, who is always ready to obey the command of Shiva, took to the infinite form and entered the egg. Then Vishnu, having 1,000 heads, 1,000 eyes, and 1,000 feet, encompassed the cosmic egg, touching the earth everywhere. Then Vishnu was properly praised by me, who entered the cosmic egg, comprising of the 24 tattvas which got activated. Lord Hari, who happens to be the preserver of all the seven lokas, himself appeared in his gigantic or Virat form. In these seven lokas, the charming Kailasa was lodged at the topmost position, which was made by Shiva his own dwelling place. O divine Rishi, even if the whole cosmic egg is destroyed, Kailasa and Vaikuntha would never be destroyed. O sage, I am dwelling in the Satya Loka. O dear one, at the command of Lord Mahadeva, I engaged myself in the task of creation. When I started creation, the scene was created first of all in the form of five illusions. It was the nature of darkness endowed with knowledge. Thereafter I, feeling delighted, created the immobile beings. At the command of Shiva, I continued my meditation in an unattached manner of the conscious beings. Observing that creation, I, for the success of my efforts, started other type of creation. Then the creatures, moving in transverse manner, appeared like the cows and others. They were the form of misery, which could not establish my basic desire. Treating them to be of no consequence, I again meditated upon, and then the creatures which could move up and having sattva guna or the divine creation appeared. The creation of the gods was extremely pleasant, but I again started thinking, taking them to be an obstruction in the achieving of my goal. Then, at the command of Shiva, the creation with dominant Rajoguna was made, which moved downwards like those of the human beings who were the great aspirants. Then, at the command of Shiva, the Bhutas, goblins, were created. In this way, five types of creation, also called Vaikruta, were set in motion. In this way, three types of creations from Prakriti were made by Brahma. Of these, the first was Mahatsarga, the second was subtle Bhautika, the third was the Vaikarika Sarga. Thus, there are three Prakriti Sargas. Combining the Prakriti and Vaikarika Sargas, 8 types of creations have been defined. Kumara Sarga happens to be the ninth, which is the combination of Prakriti and Vaikruta. Their further divisions are beyond my capacity to describe. At the end, I shall now describe the Brahmanical creation, which is of very little consequence. It is in this Sarga that the great creation of Sanaka and other rishis referred to above as Kumara Sarga has taken place. Sanaka and others are my mind-born sons, who resemble me. All the five of them were fully detached from the world and were great recluses. They possessed enormous wisdom and were detached from the world at my command, and they always meditated upon Shiva. They had declined to engage themselves in the task of the creation. O sage Narada, listening to their refusal to get engaged in the task of creation, I was enraged and confused. O sage, having been overpowered with the anger and confusion, 2 drops of tears fell from my eyes. Then suddenly I remembered Vishnu, who arrived there at once and advised me suitably, saying, "You meditate upon Shiva, O sage." At this advice of Vishnu, I performed severe tapas. While performing tapas for the sake of creation, from a point in between my eyebrows as well as the nose called Avimukta, he manifested himself as half man and half woman, or Ardha Narishwara. On seeing the unborn Lord Shiva, who was the heap of luster, Lord of Uma, omniscient, the creator of all, well known as Nila Lohita before me, I offered my salutation to Lord Shiva. I praised him with great devotion, which delighted me. Then I said to Lord Shiva, the God of gods, you take up several types of creation yourself. Then Maheshwara, the God of gods, listening to my words, started creating several beings like himself and filled with Rajoguna. Then I said to Maheshwara, the Maharudra, O Deva, you create the people who are afraid of birth and death. O sage Shiva, the ocean of compassion, then smiled and said, Mahadeva said, O Brahma, I shall not create people who are afraid of the birth and death, besides those who are ugly and remain drowned in the ocean of mercy because of their sins. I, in fact, redeem the people drowned in the ocean of misery, and as their preceptor, I bestow knowledge on them. O Prajapati, you better create the people who have to suffer for their sins. At my command, you would not be bound in any illusion. Brahma said, saying this, the glorious Lord Shiva, in my full view, disappeared from that place with his attendants. Iti Shri Shiva Purane Dvitiyayang Rudra Samhitayang Prathama Khande Srsti Khanda Rudravataravirbhava Varnanang Nama Panchadashodhyayah.